Ted Kord has plans to take over the world. Can the Suicide Squad stop him? Welcome to the Complete Story series, where we take trade paperbacks and single issues and break them down into digestible bites to help you understand. Then we read it dramatically back to you. All alterations to the panels, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. Today, we will be covering the conclusion to Tom Taylor's Suicide Squad run. No more waiting, let's jump on in. The two guards walk down the hallway. Suddenly, fists come out of the shadows and knock them out. No chatter, they don't know we're here, Thylacine tells the squad. We look good, Chaos Kitten comments as she stands up and pulls on the guard's sunglasses, straightening her suit. We do look good, Thylacine agrees. The two continue to move through the Capitol building, finally arriving at the senator's office. The man stands behind his desk, demanding to know how they got inside. With an almost surgical blend of stealth and violence, Chaos Kitten tells him with a smile. The senator begins to argue, but Thylacine crosses the room and knocks him out with a single kick. When the man awakens, a voice is speaking in his head. He opens his eyes to discover that he is underwater, tied to an anchor with an oxygen tank strapped to his body. Finn floats from the darkness around him, demanding to know why the senator had recently become one of Ted Kord's biggest investors. And the senator looks at Finn in anger. Do you know who I am? He thinks harshly, but Finn just smiles. You think you're a big deal to a freaking sea monster? Finn laughs. In moments, he breaks the surface of the water and tells Thylacine and Chaos Kitten that he has Ted Kord's location. Okay, do you also have the senator? Kitten asks. Finn turns to them, reminding them that the senator championed a law to dump more waste into the ocean. Thinks he owns the world. I have some friends reminding him that he does not, Finn tells them. Beneath the surface, an octopus begins to wrap around the senator as a shark circles. Elsewhere, Harley and Floyd sit on the cargo ramp of the Revolutionaries' flying base. This is it, huh? Our last mission together, Harley says as she looks at Floyd with a smile. It's been fun, Floyd, she tells him. But Floyd shakes his head. Not the word I'd use, he reminds her. Okay, it's been irreparably mentally scarring, she corrects. But she still smiles and tells him that she'll miss him. Yeah, you too, Quinn, he says with a grin. Suddenly, gunshots echo through the forest. Floyd runs off, finding his daughter aiming a pistol. He takes it from her as she motions to the birds she shot. Look what I can do, she says proudly. That's nothing to be proud of, he tells her. He explains that he doesn't want her using guns, reminding her that you can't do what he does and come out unscathed. You should quit, she tells him, but Floyd closes his eyes. It's not that easy, he says. Sure it is. You're good at hitting targets, so you should aim for something better, she tells her father. Wink suddenly appears and lets them know that they found Ted Kord, reminding Floyd that they need to get Zoe and Michelle somewhere safe. Dad, do you really want to feel better? Zoe asks her father before he leaves. He nods and tells her yes. Then don't kill anyone, she says simply. She holds up her hand, demanding that he make a pinky promise not to kill anyone. Pinky swear, he tells her. The next day, the Aerie returns to the base in the South China Sea, reporting that Kord is setting up a private military base on the Babylon Islands and a large city on the largest island. Osita nods, realizing that he is building a capital for his new nation. The Aerie looks at the layout of the city, explaining that if they come by sea, they'll be blasted out of the water. And if they come by air, they'll be blasted out of the sky. It's too bad we don't still have a submarine, Deadly Six notes. Actually, we have a submarine, Zebraman quietly tells the group. If you think outside the box, he finishes. A short time later, Finn is pushing the group through the ocean in the shield bubble that Zebraman created around them. Osita explains that they will head for the building and put down anyone that gets in their way. Wink turns to Floyd, reminding him that he promised not to kill anyone. And I intend to keep that promise. I can still shoot people, I just can't kill, he tells her grimly. Okay, let's go, maimed shot, she says with a smirk. Explosions rip through the city as the revolutionaries move fast and hard, taking down any of the mercs that get in their way. From his building, Cord looks down at the chaos. Damn it! He snaps as he watches. The team moves into the building, with Finn and Deadly Six breaking off to cover their exit, and Thylacine, Zebraman, and Chaos Kitten guarding the elevators in the lobby. The elevator doors close on the rest of the group, everyone checking their weapons. We don't know what's going on up there. Be ready for anything, Osita tells her team. The elevator dings at the top, and the doors are forced open, and the team gasps in shock. I wasn't ready for this, Osita whispers. Superman smiles at them. Ted Cord bound at his feet. Hi, it's okay, it's over, he says as he greets them. He looks down at the man, explaining that he knew what Ted did and how he manipulated the world. I'm sorry for what he did, and I promise that he will answer for his crimes, Superman tells them. The group looks at him, asking what they're supposed to do now. Now, you stand down, Superman orders them. But Osita becomes angry, refusing to stand down after everything that Cord has done. She storms across the room, getting in Superman's face. They're all cowards. They don't do anything. They don't punish those who deserve to be punished. They serve the status quo. She snaps at him. Harley steps forward, reminding Osita that she is crazy. But even I'm not crazy enough to go against Superman, she whispers. The Ares steps forward and puts a hand on the woman's chest. Osita, my country is safe. It's not the way you wanted, but it's over, they tell her. They look up, asking if Superman saw the friend that they're looking for, and the Man of Steel looks around. Is she a young, glowing woman? He asks. They nod, and he explains that she is in the back of a van outside the building. I can get her as soon as I deal with Cord, he tells them. But Osita turns away. No, she's ours. We've got her, the woman snaps. As the rest of the group leaves, Floyd leans to Harley and asks her to give him a minute. He walks over to Superman, who asks what the man needs. I was pardoned. I served my time, Floyd tells the Man of Steel. And Superman smiles at the news. I'm happy to hear it. I don't think it will surprise you to learn that I'm a big fan of justice, Superman tells him. Superman stands, congratulating the man. Did you just come back to chat? Because I should fly, Superman finally tells him. Floyd nods, explaining that his daughter has started to act like him, and that he was hoping for a better role model for her. He walks over to Ted's desk, where he finds a magazine with Superman on the cover. Would you mind signing an autograph for her? Maybe give her some positive words? Floyd asks with a grin. Superman smiles and tells him that it would be his pleasure. He signs the magazine and quickly hands it back. Hey, thanks, Floyd says as he stares at the signature. He sighs. Yeah, that's what I thought, he whispers. Superman looks surprised as Floyd hits his comms. Everyone, we have a problem up here, he tells the team. He reaches down, picking up Cord and explaining that Superman made it look like he came through the window. But there's no glass inside. Plus, it doesn't make any sense for Superman to bind and gag a guy. And I never told you my daughter's name, Deadshot explains as he holds up the magazine. A gunshot echoes through the office and goes through the paper. Floyd looks down at his chest in shock as Superman morphs before his eyes. Floyd, you could have been useful, Black Mask tells the man as he holds a smoking pistol. He steps across the room, putting the weapon to Floyd's head. You were right, Floyd. All the things you did, they caught up to you, Black Mask tells the man as he pulls the trigger. Deadshot plummets out the broken window, pulling Ted Cord with him. Osita rips the doors off the van, shocked to find that Lola is not inside. Airy! Thylacine shouts as she looks up to see Deadshot plummeting from the building. The Aerie leaps into the air, quickly catching Deadshot and Ted Cord. They land, and the Aerie looks down at their friend. He's dead, they tell the group. Floyd? Harley whispers as she leans over the body, a tear playing in her eyes. Osita charges across to Cord, grabbing him by the throat and demanding to know what happened. Chaos Kitten removes the gag, ordering the man to speak. "It wasn't me! It was never me!" Ted shouts at them. He motions upward where a plane begins to flee the city. Osita nods, shouting for the Aerie. Harley motions for her to go, taking Floyd's body. "I'll hold him. Go get whoever did this and make them pay," she snaps. "I'll go with you. I'll do what needs to be done," Wink tells them. The two fly through the air, quickly catching up to the plane. Quickly, Ted Cord is untied and he fills the team in on Black Mask's plan. Harley doesn't understand how he did this, but Ted explains that Black Mask has some new power that allows him to take someone's identity. "He's like a chameleon," he explains. Wink teleports into the plane, but she doesn't find Black Mask. Instead, she is shocked to see that Lola is sitting in the cockpit, still tied up. "What is happening? Who did this?" Wink asks as she turns. Behind her, the ropes fall from Lola, and the girl pulls out a pistol. Black Mask turns back to the controls, getting on the radio and ordering all his forces to converge on Task Force X and kill them on sight. He looks down at a warning light, seeing that the cargo doors are opening. He reaches for his pistol as his appearance shifts once more to that of Wink. The Aerie lands in the plane, seeing their partner standing before them. "Are you okay?" they ask. Wink nods, motioning for them to be quiet. The Aerie nods, but they suddenly lash out with their wings and slam Wink against the wall. "How about now? You still okay?" they ask. Black Mask shifts again, demanding to know how the Aerie knew. Wink is about half a foot shorter. "I don't like violence, but I could crush your bones to paste with these wings. Where is she?" the Aerie demands. But the door to the cockpit slides open, and Wink stumbles out, holding her wounded arm. "I'm here. We need answers. Don't crush him yet," she gasps. But Black Mask just laughs. He's already won, and the Aerie slams the villain against the ceiling and then the floor. On the ground, the team turns and sees the large army of mercs. "Go straight through them. Get to the water," Osita growls. Harley nods and reaches for one of Floyd's pouches. She pulls out Deadshot's mask and pulls it over her face. With that, the team launches into the biggest battle of their life. Ted Cord fighting right beside them. Suddenly, Black Mask's plane floats above them, and Wink orders for them to get inside over the loudspeaker. Harley turns, yelling that they need to get Floyd, as Chaos Kitten grabs her. "We'll come back for him. We've got to go, now!" she shouts. They all jump on board, and Osita orders the Aerie to take them to Badnesia. They arrive on the island and quickly find the Aerie's mother, explaining that Lola is somewhere on the island and could explode at any moment. "Where is this girl?" the president asks. "We're working on that. We're just waiting for the guy who knows to regain consciousness," Osita explains. The president nods, telling them to find the girl while she begins the evacuation. The Aerie tries to argue, but their mother leans in and smiles. "We clearly don't have time for an argument that you won't win. I love you. Let's save our people," the president says with a smile. Ted Cord nods, pulling out his phone and telling them that he'll call some people who will help. But Osita whirls, snarling that they don't trust him. Finn walks over, getting very close. "What are you doing? Are you looking in my ear?" Cord asks him. But Finn continues to peer, telling the man that he is searching his brain. "You are secretly Blue Beetle," Finn thinks to him. He turns to the rest of the team with a smile. "We can trust him. He dresses like all the other rich destroyers, but he wears another uniform," he tells them. Harley suddenly gasps. "Wait! You're not Batman, are you?" she shouts. Ted just smiles. "You think a billionaire would spend his nights fighting crime in Gotham?" he asks as he straightens his tie. Harley stares at him for a moment before she starts laughing. "Of course not. You'd have to be so messed up," she giggles. The team heads back onto the plane as Black Mask regains consciousness, telling them that they need to get off the island. "She should have already blown up," he shouts. But Osita refuses. "Then we'll add your team to the list of people you failed," Black Mask smiles. His face begins to change, becoming Javier, Scale, Deadshot, and Jog. "Get their face off your sick head," Osita snarls as she lashes out with her robotic arm. Sionis's mask flies across the room, and Osita stares at it in shock as the villain screams in pain. "I didn't realize the mask was stuck to him," she whispers. Harley appears next to her, a look of disgust on her face. "Yeah, it was burned onto him in a fire," she whispers. "I was not aware of that," Osita nods. The rest step forward, demanding to know where Lola is. A short time later, they find the girl in a broken containment pod on the beach. Wink steps forward, shouting the girl's name. Energy cracks off the girl as she shouts for her friends to run. "We're here for you!" Wink shouts as she struggles forward. "I can't keep it in anymore! All the people!" Lola shouts. But the Aerie is there, explaining that everyone is evacuated. Suddenly, Lola begins to scream, telling the others that she's sorry. The Aerie moves fast, grabbing Wink and flying away. The explosion begins to build, but Zebraman throws his bubble shield around her, trying to contain the blast. "You know, Zebraman, you're a very useful person. I'm sorry I gave you a hard time about your look and name," Harley tells him. The man nods, struggling to hold his shield. "I'm sorry I lied about my whole look and name. I do like zebras. They're really majestic animals," he gasps. Harley nods and smiles. "They are!" she cheers. Black Mask looks on in fear, yelling that they need to run. But Osita grabs him by the back of the head and pushes him closer as Zebraman's shield begins to weaken. "We don't have time to get clear, Sionis. You lit this fuse, and you'll be here for the explosion. Welcome to the Suicide Squad," she shouts. In a morgue in Louisiana, Jog suddenly sits up in his body bag. "Yes, you have a head," a voice calls out as he reaches up for the part of him that had exploded. "Jog, it's a good name," the person says simply. Jog turns, demanding to know who the man clad in black is. "I am the Black Racer. I am Death, and I loved your mother very much," the Black Racer tells him. He explains that Jog is now meant to be more, that he is actually a half-god. He reaches out his hand. "Now, it is time, son. Come with me," he intones. But Jog shakes his head. "Nope," he says simply. The Black Racer nods and keeps talking. "Together we shall..." "Wait, did you say nope?" he asks, reminding his son that he is offering him a place among the gods. But Jog shakes his head. He looks for his personal effects and asks where his friends are. The Black Racer pauses as he searches the world. "They are moments from death, on an island called Badnesia," he explains. Jog nods as he pulls on his uniform, telling his father that he needs to go. "But let's have a chat after all this," he says. "We will chat," the Black Racer agrees. On the island, Osita shouts for Zebraman to hold his shield longer, to allow more people to flee. Deadly Six comes up behind the man, gently touching him on the shoulder and whispering, "Pride." Zebraman grins. "Of course I can hold it." He smiles with pride. Suddenly, Jog is next to them. "Didn't you die?" Osita asks him. "I did. I got better, Jog replies. He grabs Zebraman and orders him to keep holding Lola. He begins to run, with Zebraman pulling the shield bubble along with them. When they're finally clear, Jog orders the man to drop his shield. It's okay, I can outrun it, Jog tells them as they continue to zip away. In a blur of motion, they arrive back at the team. Fill me in, the exploding woman. Should I leave her in the middle of the ocean? Jog asks Osita. No! Wink shouts. In another blur of motion, Jog returns with Lola in his arms. Here we go, he says to the team. Harley nods as she walks over to Black Mask. Crisis averted, nation saved. Now we just have to decide who gets to kill Black Mask first, she hisses as she pulls a pistol from her jacket. But Osita shakes her head. That's not going to happen, Harley. We should coordinate it so we all get to kill him in sync, she says as she pulls out her own pistol. But suddenly, an arrow hits the ground at their feet. Everyone looks up to see a jet flying over their heads. Hey! Black Mask needs to answer for his crimes, and we need him alive to do that, Green Arrow shouts down at them. Put down the gun, he orders. Harley looks up before aiming the gun to the side and shooting Black Mask in the leg. The ship lands and Green Arrow jumps off. Hey! He shouts. What? Harley shouts as she drops the gun. I said put down the gun, and you shot him in the leg! Green Arrow shouts as he rushes towards them. I did! He's got another one, Harley tells him as she shrugs. Osita turns and shoots Black Mask in the other leg. Green Arrow gasps at her, motioning to the wounded villain. He doesn't need legs to talk, she says, crossing her massive arms. The rest of the League steps off the jet. Last chance to put your weapons down, Batman snarls. He looks at everyone, reminding his teams that the revolutionaries are criminals. The Ares steps forward, reminding the Dark Knight that he has no power in Badnesia. We'll take it up with the president, he snaps. That's gonna go great for you, they tell him. A short time later, Batman reminds the president that the revolutionaries are also criminals that must answer for their crimes. Is this because I stole your car? Wink asks over his shoulder. She stole your car? Superman questions. Ares' mother, the president, nods. She thanks the Justice League for coming and offers them Black Mask. But these heroes just saved our nation. You will not take them, she tells Batman. She also reminds him that it was American powers that helped Sionis in his attack against their country. I would recommend American heroes could better protect the world if they looked to clean their own house, she tells him. Your mom just spanked Batman, Wink whispers to the Aerie with a smile. As the Justice League leaves, Chaos Kitten looks around at the group. Did we win? She asks. But Osita shakes her head and reminds them all that there is more to do. Oh please, just take a moment to enjoy this, Deadly Six tells them. He waves his arms and orders the group to take pride. Celebrations are had, thanking the team for saving the nation. But eventually, Harley takes her leave from the group, having somewhere else to be. A short time later, she sits with Zoe on the front steps of their home. The young girl looks up at Harley, holding her father's mask. My father wasn't a good person, was he? Zoe asks her. Harley closes her eyes before answering. Floyd did some bad things. He hurt a lot of people, but he genuinely wanted to be better, and he managed that big time in the end. Your dad uncovered a plot to destroy a nation. His last actions saved hundreds of thousands of people and stopped the rise of an evil empire, she tells her. And I want you to know, I think it was because of you. Deadshot wanted you to have a better world than the one that he thought he lived in, she says. Zoe looks up at her, asking if Harley has to leave, but Quinn just smiles and shakes her head. Kid, I'm a psychiatrist. You just lost your father. How about we go inside and talk? She asks. She helps Zoe up, offering to tell her some heavily censored stories of her father. 2 days later, Zebraman breaks the surface of the ocean in his shield bubble and tells the others that they are in position. The rest of the team chimes in over the world, also confirming that they are in position. "Take them alive," Osita orders. In seconds, the teams have moved in. Guards are disabled in a flash, and people are taken captive. When they awaken, they are all bound and gagged, tied to chairs. Welcome. I imagine you all recognize each other, or can at least extrapolate what ties you together. Osita tells the circle of the kidnapped. She explains that each person here has had a hand in Task Force X, either covering for them, financing them, or employing the squad for their own gain. You have facilitated thefts, kidnappings, and murders. You have enslaved people, Osita reminds them all. The Ares steps forward, explaining that the team took a vote and everyone gets to live. What you don't get is to continue to hurt us, they explain. The team explains that they have intel on everything the group has done, and the information will be leaked to the public should anything happen to the team. The Suicide Squad is dead. It's time for a revolution. And that brings us to the conclusion of Tom Taylor's Suicide Squad run. Now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, this was honestly probably the best Suicide Squad run I have read in a very long time. But let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Also, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that bell icon to get notifications when new videos go live. And if you want to support us even further, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Comicstorian. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you next time right here.